Hello and welcome to another episode of the Minecraft Family Guide! Hooray! Whoop! In this week's episode, we're going to look at how to set up a Minecraft world. We're going to explore all the different settings you can use and how to keep safe. So when you set up your world, how to make sure only people you trust are joining it. Enjoy! And let me know in the comments if there's anything you'd like to feature in future episodes. And don't forget to like and subscribe, click the buttons down below, turn that red button to grey. It really helps the visibility of the videos in the channel. Enjoy the video! We've started up Minecraft. We're playing on the PC, the Windows 10 Bedrock Edition. I explained in episode 1, I'll put a link in the description to previous episodes, where this is a family guide for the Bedrock Edition because that's the one that most families will be playing because you can play it across tablet, PC, Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, and you can cross-play between them. So it's one that most families are likely to have. Java is a really good version of Minecraft as well, but most people will be playing the Bedrock Edition when they're playing as families, so this is a guide for that. As you can see, when you load up Minecraft, you get the main menu, and you can see my little avatar, my little Kadoomed character down there. He's wearing a skeleton costume, and he's following the pointer around. Hello. Hi. It'll remember that across the Windows version, the PlayStation, Switch. Because I've signed in using a Microsoft account, I'll put in the description a link to a guide to setting up Microsoft accounts, and particularly the Microsoft Family account and Family account management. It's really important as parents that you link your children's accounts to your account and run it as a family account, because then you can monitor how much screen time they have, what they're getting up to on the internet. It's a really handy tool. And it's the same, there's also Nintendo Online family accounts that are really great, and it's the same for PlayStation as well. When we go into our profile, you can see lots of different skins that you can change. So my son made me download a Preston Plays skin. So I look like Preston because he's his favourite YouTuber, not me, Preston. If you haven't watched Preston Plays, he's a really fun, family-friendly YouTuber. Does lots of Minecraft real-life videos, also lots of Fortnite videos as well. Very wholesome. So this is my preferred skin at the moment, it's the skeleton one. And you can edit the character. You can do lots of stuff with different clothes and marketplace content as well. But what we're going to look at is just the settings in here. So if you click the little cog, that's a universally known logo for settings. So whenever you see a little cog like that, that usually means you can access the settings for that application or game. And this gives you the settings for the profile. So you can manage your account, change your gamer tag, and if you click this link, you can manage who can send you game invites, and that'll open up a browser page to the Microsoft website. So that's again something you can manage within your Microsoft account on the internet. Worth taking a look at that. And we will then go in and set up a game. So you click play, and then you're presented with this option. So at the top you've got worlds. These are the worlds that you have created, or any realms that you are an owner of. At the moment we've just got the Family Guide to Minecraft world. We can create new worlds here. And at the top we've also got 3 tabs. Friends. This is where you can add friends to play with. So if you know the gamer tag or the Minecraft username of any friends that you know who play, you can add them here. And if you click that, you just enter the gamer tag. You can then join a realm if you're a member of any realms. So I play on a server called the Plus Club. Sometimes I stream that as well. And that's a Bedrock multiplayer server that I play with some friends, and yeah, it's a really good time. So they'll come up on that list there, and if any friends are playing Minecraft, it'll come up there as well. And that's if they're friends who live further away, not in the same house as you. But if they're also playing on the same network, they might appear there as well. So if they're playing on your local Wi-Fi, it might pick up and play there. So you don't necessarily have to be friends with them straight away. We've also got servers. This is where you can find the partnered servers that Microsoft have, or Mojang have, and this is things like Mineville, Mineplex, Lifeboat, Cubecraft. Galaxite, the Hive. We'll do a separate video on servers and explore some of the different mini games you can play on here and what you can do, and also how to stay safe on them, because that is online multiplayer. You're playing with people you do not know, and all the servers have a public chat as well. They're heavily moderated, so you don't have to worry too much about it, but again, it's really important to be careful and to be aware of what your children are playing and who they're playing with. But they're good fun. You can do lots of different mini games and fun versions of Minecraft, and you can play survival online and build challenges and creative mode and stuff. So it's definitely worth exploring. We'll cover it in more detail in future episodes. In the meantime, what we're doing today is looking at how you create a world and how you set it up so that people you don't know can't join it, and the difference between survival and creative worlds. So let's go in. So when we create new, we're presented with the marketplace adverts, and we're going to ignore that and just create a new world. And this gives us the options that we saw in the last video when we did our surviving the first few days in Minecraft, and there'll be a card coming up here now where you can click on that and view it. And it was a good video. It was a good fun time. We tamed a wolf. We died, but we respawned, and it was all good. And we showed you how you can build a basic shelter and survive the first couple of days in a survival world in Minecraft. But we didn't really go into the options, so we'll look at that now. When you go into the create new world, these are the settings you get, and at first glance it can be a bit daunting if you're not used to it. So there are two main game modes in Minecraft. There's survival and creative. Survival is the standard game mode where you have mobs, baddies who can hurt you, different monsters, and you can die and lose all your stuff. And you also have to mine rock and wood to build stuff. And it's a really good time, but it's a bit harder for maybe really young players. It takes a long time to really build amazing creations, because it might take you months to get all the resources together. Creative mode, on the other hand, you can get anything you want straight away. You can access any blocks, any bricks, you can spawn as many monsters as you want, you can use it, it's a complete sandbox, a playground. You can use it to build huge creations, really amazing works of art, and people have built stunning things in Minecraft using the creative mode. But yeah, it's a really interesting way. It's a great way to learn the game, to learn different mechanics. You can practice things with redstone circuits in the creative mode, and get your head around that, which is slightly more advanced Minecraft mechanics. But you can also just play, just build stuff, just be really imaginative, see which blocks work together, try and build a massive castle. We also have the difficulty settings here. The default setting is normal, but you can change that to easy and hard. Easy just means that the mobs, the monsters that you encounter in the world, are easier to kill and they don't hurt you as much. Hard is the opposite. The mobs are harder to kill and they hurt you a lot more. And peaceful means that there's no mobs. There's no bad mobs anyway. So you won't have zombies and skeletons or creepers that spawn. But you'll still get the cows and sheep and pigs, all the friendly ones as well. So that's quite useful, especially for people who are just exploring the survival game mode and want to test that out, but don't want to have to fight the monsters or get scared by them. And yeah, it's worth trying out. The world preferences options. Those are like bonus items, so if you start your survival world with a starting map selected and a bonus chest, that means you start with an empty map in your hand, and whenever it's in your hand, you fill the map up as you wander around the world. And that can be really useful for finding your way back to your base, exploring later on. The bonus chest means that when you spawn, there's a chest full of useful items like swords and axes, pickaxes, some wood, some apples, bread, that kind of stuff, just to get you going and give you a good start. So it's a nice thing to do. If anyone's joining, you can change the player permissions when they're joining your world, so they can either be a member, they can be a visitor, which means they can just explore, but they can't actually interact with blocks, items, or entities. And that means that they wouldn't be able to break your builds, steal your stuff, and that's a useful option if you're worried that people are going to be naughty when they come to your world. Member means that they can join your world and they can interact as freely as they want, pretty much. They can build, they can mine, they could break your base, they can attack mobs and other players, all that stuff. Operator means that they get the power, the ultimate power to set permissions. They can take people's abilities to break blocks and mine away from them. So you have to be careful who you grant operator power to. I would only give that to trusted family members, not ones who are likely to abuse that power and be cheeky. World type, you can set it to a completely flat world, or infinite, which means it's just constantly generating new world whenever you move. You can move to the as far as you want and it'll create new world. Seed is very interesting. Minecraft uses something called procedural generation. So that means that every world that you create is random, and it's very hard to create two worlds the same. But you might create a world that's amazing, and you might want to share that with other people. And that means that when you go into the settings, it will have the seed, and that's basically the long number that's generated by the computer, and it contains all the calculations in it that created the world. So you can send that number to other people and they can explore the world that you generated, and they can play their own game in it, which is pretty cool. You can also, if you click this button, you can select some pre-generated world types, and that's not clear to people who aren't familiar with Minecraft. So just to be clear, if you want to select a particular type of world, you're looking for the seed option and click the little arrow there, and then you can say, hey, I want to explore a bamboo forest, and it'll spawn you next to a bamboo forest. I want to explore a coastal village, and it'll spawn you next to a coastal village, and so on and so on. I've never found an outpost. I'd really like to find one and try and take it over. You can spawn next to an outpost, a spooky mansion, a snowy village, a sunflower field, a big long winding river, and all these different places. So it's a really interesting way to quickly set up different world types for you and your friends and family to play on and explore. Simulation distance, that really depends on how powerful your PC is and whether you're experiencing lag on your Switch or PlayStation. If so, then you might want to turn it down a bit, and it means it's not loading in too far ahead in the world, or it'll just load smaller bits of the game. So as you're walking and exploring the world, it's loading in new bits of it all the time, and those bits are called chunks. These next options are really useful, particularly with young kids who might argue a lot. You want to turn off friendly fire. If you find they keep arguing because they keep killing each other and stealing their stuff, turn off friendly fire. It's so much easier, and then they can't hurt each other. Later on, if you want to actually do some player versus player, or PvP as it's called, and have some battles, you can turn it back on in the options. It's not a problem. Whoever's got operator power can just come into their settings and turn it on. You can change that at any point. Show coordinates is another useful one. It can be very easy to get lost in Minecraft. If you click show coordinates, it'll bring up a little coordinate bit in the top left of your screen, which you can then make note of where your base is, where interesting landmarks are, and try not to get lost. It's a really handy tool. So I always play with show coordinates on. And the other ones are things like fire spreads. So if you light a fire, it could burn down your whole house. It could burn down a whole forest if fire spreads is on. If you find that's a problem, if you have a little pyromaniac, you can turn that off, and then the fire stays still and it doesn't burn down at people's houses. TNT explodes. If people make TNT, they can blow it up. If someone keeps blowing up loads of TNT and destroying everyone's builds, turn it off. Mob loot, that's just if mobs, when you kill them, if they drop stuff. Those are the important ones. The fire spreads and friendly fire and show coordinates are the main ones that I would use. The other one that you might want to look at is activate cheats, and that means when you click that on, it tells you that you're turning off achievements. That's okay. Basically, they're just extra options that mean you can do things like keep inventory. So if you die, you don't lose all your stuff, and your stuff, you keep all the items you've collected. which is quite useful again for younger players, or if you're just if you're doing a big PvP battle world and you keep dying and you don't want to always lose your stuff, then that might be quite good fun too. Change it to always day so you don't have nighttime where mobs are spawning. That could be useful if you're trying to do a big build, for instance. You can also use, if you've got cheats enabled, you can use commands in game to teleport to each other and things, but we'll look at that a bit later on. So it's worth exploring that, and that's really just for giving you extra options when you're playing within the survival game. Okay, so we've looked at the different settings there. The next bit we're going to look at is really important. This is how to stay safe when you're creating a world, and that's the multiplayer section just on the left here. So when you click that, you get a very small menu here, and you can select whether it's a multiplayer game or whether it's not a multiplayer game. So if you're creating a world on your Switch, your PlayStation, your PC, and you don't want anyone to be able to join, deselect the multiplayer game. If it's just going to be a single player world, you want to work on it and create something, and you don't want the prospect of someone else joining the game, just click off multiplayer game. Simple. If you want the prospect of people joining, but you want to control that a bit more, you can select multiplayer game, and you can change it to friends only or invite. I would never recommend children set up a game with friends of friends, because then you don't really know who's joining. Invite only or friends only, and then that way it's people that your children are already friends with, and you should be monitoring that anyway, or it's people they are specifically asking to join their game, so people can't just join on a whim. Your kids would have to actually send an invite to come and play with them. Visible to LAN players, that means, is your world going to show up to people who are on the same network as you? If you're just in playing on family Wi-Fi, that's not a problem. If you're playing on a public network, like in a school, or say you're on holiday somewhere and you've got a big shared Wi-Fi, then you probably want to turn that off as well, so that other random people don't join the game. So let's go and create a game. Let me show you what the starting map and the bonus chest does, and I will show you what setting up as a seed does. So we'll go and pick a taiga village, because I like foxes. Foxes are my favourite mob in the game, and they appear in taiga biomes. And we're going to set it up as a single player game because we don't want people to join. Very important, this is going to be me and me alone. No one else can join this game. And we'll hit create. And Minecraft will do its magic and create a world for us to explore. Ta-da! Here we are! So this is the spawn that we've started in. As you can see, I have a map in my hand. And if I right click and look at it, figure on there, if I move, it moves and spins around, and it shows the water and the land. And here is the chest with a bunch of items in it. So we'll just click to use the chest, and we can pick up all this stuff. Hooray! We've got stuff to start with. So that's what the starting map and the chest do. And then you can see on the left there is the coordinates. So it tells us we're at position 355, 63, 22. And as I move, those change. So the middle number is height. So as I drop down a block, it goes to 63. If I go up a block, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69. And that's important when you're mining, because certain things like diamonds appear more regularly the lower down you go. So you can use that to judge how far you mine downwards. And it's also important if you're building really high, because there's a build limit of, I think, 250 blocks in Minecraft Bedrock for now. I think the build limit may change in future updates. So you can't go any higher than 250. And the other coordinates are just X and Y, so these two directions, forward and back this direction, and then the other ones, if I'm facing this way, are left and right. And there's a baby wolf. Oh, baby wolf. So if you wanted to always find your spawn again, then you can take a note of the coordinates and you'll be able to get back here. No problem. So there we have, this is a taiga biome that we've just created in survival mode, which means, as you can see at the bottom, we've got hearts and a food level as well. So once we're in the wild, you can go to your menu and go back to settings, and some of them you can change. So we can actually change it to creative mode in game. If you want to switch and build something, you can switch to creative mode, and that means you have like unlimited tiles, unlimited blocks once you select something, and you just need to hit once to get rid of them. Creative mode has a number of advantages in terms of you don't die. Creative mode also means that you don't die if you fall. So if you double jump, press jump twice really quickly, you start to fly, and then you just need to press your jump button or key to go upwards. And then to go lower, you just press your crouch button, which on the keyboard is shift, space to go up, shift to go down. And remember, last week we showed you how to access the controls in settings. If you're on a controller, all your controls are here. So it would be A to go up on an Xbox controller, and B to crouch or fly down. So you can find that in your settings if you don't know how to do that. And then if I press space again, twice, or jump again, twice, I fall down. But I don't take any damage. If I fly up really high, and then change the game back to survival mode. Kadoomed fell from a high place. I died! But that's okay, so we'll just respawn. And we had keep inventory on. So you can see that keep inventory means that I didn't lose anything at all. It all stayed in my pockets, which is good. So at the moment, fire spreads is on. If I open the inventory, I can then find tool, what's in here, called a flint and steel. Flint and steel allows you to make fire. And because fire spreads is on, and I'm in a woodland biome, if I set fire to a tree, and we watch it, it spreads. So very quickly that could burn down a house. And if we go back to the village, and we can fly there, I'm going to do something not very nice. You can see it's now burning down our houses. Oh no! So imagine you'd built something out of wood, and then another player comes along, maybe your brother, your son, your daughter, your friend from school, and they start burning down your village that you'd worked for weeks on. That would feel pretty bad. But you can turn it off in your world options, and it'll stop spreading. And then to get rid of fire, you just attack it. You can attack it with a sword. You can swipe at it. You can also pour water, and it'll get rid of fire as well. If you're in survival mode, don't go on fire. It's a bad time. And if you're playing in creative mode, it doesn't matter, because you can't die. There we go. That's kind of fixed. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Fine. Totally fine. Sorry guys. So here's a zombie. I can show you that in creative mode, the zombie's not going to bother me. He's still trying to get into the village and the villagers, but not interested in me at all. I can hit him. Doesn't do anything. Doesn't care. If I switch it back to survival, he's going to come and get me. But if I switch it to difficulty peaceful, no mobs spawn at all. So you don't get any enemy mobs. So yeah, if you're playing with young kids and they find that they want to try out Survival World, but they find the mobs are stressful, and you can set up a peaceful world, then there's no zombies, no skeletons, no creepers, nothing at all spawning. You just get friendly mobs and neutral mobs, so cows, sheep, foxes, wolves. Okay, we're going to leave it there for this week's episode. Thank you for watching the Minecraft Family Guide, and we'll be back very soon with a short guide to building in creative mode. Don't forget to like and follow, and we'll see you next time. Bye!